Last week I spent 3 days in China with the Civil Liberties, Justice and Home Affairs Committee, focusing on the destructive impact of psychoactive substances, as well as challenging the Chinese authorities on human rights issues, particularly the plight of human rights lawyers. I had a positive meeting in Beijing with the leadership of the National Narcotics Control Bureau, who provided me with a comprehensive outline of a new regulation to combat the manufacture of new psychoactive substances in China. This regulation does two important things. It raises the number of new psychoactive substances banned from 12 to 116, and it ensures that the time required to place a new psychoactive substance on the scheduled list has been reduced from 2 years to a maximum of 9 months. The Chinese Narcotics Control Bureau expressed their willingness to step up international cooperation to combat the manufacturing and the trafficking of new psychoactive substances. Whilst welcoming these measures, I told them that this is something of a cat and mouse game being played between the manufacturers and the Chinese authorities, as manufacturers simply make a very small change to the chemical makeup in a drug that has been subject to a ban in order to evade regulation. It's therefore important that there is greater international cooperation, hence the reason why I travelled to China, to tackle the scourge of these horrible substances. And that also requires the EU to up its game. Currently, my work as negotiating lead MEP with responsibility for placing these vile psychoactive substances under drug control measures has been hampered by a ridiculous dispute between the Council and the Commission about their legal status. Meanwhile, our young people are being motivated to use them because they are classified as legal and widely available. Hundreds of young people have died consuming these deadly products that are portrayed in attractive packages and labelled as bath salts or potpourri. Now, during my meeting and a number of meetings that I had in China, I took the opportunity to challenge the authorities about their human rights record. In a meeting with leading members of the National People's Congress, I told them I had heard disturbing reports of human rights abuse in both Tibet and the Xinjiang province. In Xinjiang province, new anti-terror law is being used as a cover for widespread abuse of the Uyghur population. Now, as well as discrimination and attacks on culture, religion and language rights, I have heard credible reports of state violence, extrajudicial killings and unfair trials of human rights activists. I also questioned them about a crackdown on human rights lawyers. I actually met with Chinese human rights lawyers who provided information on the crackdown this year, which has led to the arrest of hundreds of lawyers engaged in defence of Uyghurs from Xinjiang, in defence of Hong Kong students, protesters, feminists and other activists. Like in Ireland, we have first-hand experience of the persecution of human rights lawyers when the British government actually colluded in the murder of the brilliant human rights lawyer Pat Finucane for no other reason than that he was doing his job and providing a legal defence for Republicans. In China, the Constitution guarantees freedom of expression, but when activists have relied on this as their defence, their lawyers have been targeted and arrested. So it is absolutely vital that China ensures that the rights of human rights lawyers to defend their clients free from harassment and prosecution is displayed to the international community.